don't really have any words, to be honest. This is what you work for. This is what you come here every tournament all year. This is what you grind in between. This is like dragging my kids out to shoot and practice with me every day. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. We shot 40 targets Saturday before this event together as a family with my 2 young ones with me. I shot 40 targets Sunday. I worked all day Monday, shot a little less. I mean, like, it takes an army, and this is what you come and you work for, and this is what all the blood, sweat, and tears pours into. And I can't even summarize today. I really, honestly, I didn't think I had an opportunity I didn't think I was within striking distance. So it was basically, let's come in, let's shoot the tournament, let's make good decisions. And wherever the cards lie, they lie, and just do the best that Cara can possibly do, because you can't control what's happening out there. And obviously it's hard to watch somebody struggle and have a rough day, no matter what the circumstances and the situation. So, hats off to everybody that was a humdinger of a range. I think that might be the worst one we've shot. That was a classic range. That was probably the worst one we've shot all year. Worst being the most aggressive, right? Like I said, I think this is the hardest thing to win in archery. Everybody brings their A game every weekend, and this is what you put all your time and effort into winning. This is it, right? This is what every single one of us set as a goal every year when we walk on the range in Foley. So to walk away with yet another Shooter of the Year as a women's pro is a complete honor. These women are amazing, and I'm just blessed to be the one standing here.
Yeah, Shooter of the Year was definitely a battle. I mean, it is every year. I feel like I started out with a deficit coming into this event after we tossed out scores, and I think I had a 6-point deficit. I was behind by 6, so I had to, and he had me on 12s too, so I had to win by 2. So I knew I'd have to win by 8. And I was going to shoot pretty aggressive to try to do that. So I knew it was either going to be a burn it up or burn it down kind of weekend to get started. And I started out aggressive. I started out shooting really well. I was 6 up after 5, and Levi was kind of having an off round for him. He had shot a couple 8s, and I don't normally change my strategy, but I just pulled back a little bit and thought, all right, well, maybe you don't have to be this aggressive, because I could dig myself in a hole pretty quick even doing that, even though it worked out good for the first 5. That's a really, gambling strategy. But so I backed off a little and just tried to keep pace for just a decent round, and then figure we'd bang it out on the second day, and that's what happened. It started out the same way, and he gave me a few points to start out with, and so I just tried to be really patient and not shoot any 8s. That was my goal this weekend. Don't shoot any 8s and give any points back. But he picked them apart and started like chipping that lead away that I had, and chipped it away till we got within like 2 points. So then I had to start like shooting at him again. And I actually started shooting at him a little bit right before that. I had planned on hitting 3 of them that were not very long for us. They were like maybe a 41 yarder, a 38 yarder, and a 36 or a 37 yarder. Apparently I thought they were 41, 30, or 1 extra yard, and I missed all 3 of those by like a tiny little bit, and he hit them, and that made it a battle again, and then it came all the way down to, I think we were within 2 points with maybe 3 to go or 4 to go, and he hit a long muley. I just missed it. And then I was able to hit my last one, or the 39th target, which made me just have to shoot a 10 to win. But I also wanted to try to win the tournament, so I shot at the last one, hit the 12 on the last one. But I was telling myself the whole time on that last target is like, man, if you ate this target trying to win this tournament, you are going to regret this, because Levi will hit this thing. And man, it just worked out well for me, and nothing but absolute total respect for Levi. He is a hammer out here every weekend. I think he just kind of had a bad weekend, and I had a good weekend, and that's kind of what it would have took, and that doesn't happen very often. So thankful for the blessing, and even though I don't know if I deserved it. Yes, so I guess winning multiple years in a row, I don't know. I don't really have a feeling about that. Every year it's an individual. 1 year there's no award for 1 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row. So for me, I just try to concentrate on this year and this season, and I don't really keep track of that stuff. But it's a goal that I had at the beginning of the year to come out, and I felt like I didn't have a great year. I mean, I struggled to really get my shot working. And every tournament I shot a little different, changed stuff every weekend. The bow's shooting good, but I just didn't feel like I was doing my job, breaking all of my shots on the way they should. And it just felt like I had a hiccup in my shot. And so I worked really hard this year, probably harder than some other seasons, with less success. Lost a tournament on 12 count, tied for first, but lost on 12, and just really had a poor shoot off season for me. So it's bittersweet. It's good to get the win out here for the shooter of the year, but I still feel like I have some unfinished business. I'd love to do well today. But if I don't, I don't, and I'll be super happy for whoever wins it.
Yeah, the scores this year were just ridiculously high all year. I mean, it seems like the level of competition just goes higher and higher every year. So you just kind of got to up your game along with it and just battle through. I had really good tournaments most of the year. This is the first shoot-off that I missed this year, so kind of bummed about that. But it feels good to be able to make every shoot-off, and then other than this one, and then win shoot of the year. So it's been a good season for sure. I can't complain too much. Yeah, it's crazy hard. Just to win shoot of the year once is so hard, but to get it, multiple times in a row, it's crazy the level of competition that these guys are shooting right now. You just can't have any mistakes. Your equipment's got to be dialed, and just try and avoid any bow issues, any mental mistakes or whatever, and just grind it out all year long and make sure you're prepared for every shoot.
Do you start working on the 25 shooter of the year tomorrow?
It's going to be hunting season for a while, and then we'll worry about that. Got one more shoot this year, and then then just hunting season till indoor.
I would say I struggled this year. I'm that critic. What's hard is I didn't actually struggle with the shooting. I struggled a number of different things. And I was just talking to the girls about it today. So I actually went and switched bows and complete setups last night. And last year I shot the same bow and the same setup the whole time. And jokingly, but seriously, with the scores I shot last year, I was like, I could point it at the button, it would just laser to the 12. I didn't know where to aim last year. It would just hit the 12. It was the most forgiving setup ever. I don't know how I did it. So this year, I start the year off with that bow and shoot 44 up, I think, at Foley. And it was like, yeah, it's just as easy. Well, then I switched bows. And I kept telling myself, it's good. It's good. When I group tune it, it's good. Forgiveness-wise, under pressure, it wasn't good. And instead of me really accepting that, I kept blaming myself. Oh, my execution's not good. I'm fighting my eye, which all of that was true, but not to the extent that I feel like I should have been smarter than that. And so finally yesterday, I was like, I showed up to work. I had the best execution at ASA of the entire year, and I knew where I was aiming. It was so good, and I still didn't score good. And I was like, you know what? I did everything I could today, and it still wasn't enough. I lost points, so I was 3 down at that point. And I was like, I have to do something. So I had a brand new bow here. I'd never shot it at a tournament, and it had my skinny arrows because I was gonna phase it in at the next one, which is a FIDA. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw my ASA sight on that, and I'm going to shoot it tomorrow, and we're going to see how it goes. And I almost doubled my score today, and I didn't shoot as good today, actually. So it makes me feel a little bit better knowing that okay, cool, there's hope. And next year, I'm going to be able to shoot skinnies most of the time, which is exciting. So I don't have to worry about 23s anymore, which is great. I fight those a little bit. So shooting the skinnies felt good. Shooter of the year is what we all strive for, right? We want to win tournaments, of course. That's how we get to this point. But consistency in this job, I've said this for so many years, consistency is key. And winning shooter of the year just shows that you were consistent. And my score was down from last year, right? So now I have something to know. I want to get back to where I was, not where I was this year. But Morgan and I were so close. We were battling it out to the very end. She shot strong all year. And, just seeing the growth in our division and the spread versus now not having that spread, it's been awesome. It's been great. So I'm super happy. I feel like I had all the pressure for shooter of the year, and then that finished, and I was kind of like, I can breathe. But we're not done. Like, we have to go shoot the shoot off, and we're all crazy close for the classic, which is also super important. So now I kind of got to breathe for just a little bit and then get my head back in the game for this evening.
All right, well, going into this shoot, I had a pretty good lead, just kind of like last year. Last year I had a broken knock on the second arrow, which took 10 of that away real quick. And so I did a lot of knock checking this year. So Randy had a few bow problems first day. I kind of felt bad for him. It's always rough when, you just really are out of it because something you can't control. So he's a heck of a competitor. He's always fun to shoot against. And, I just tried to come here with the focus of just trying to get ahead. And I got ahead early. I got 4 points right away. And then, of course, I shot an 8 and gave it all back. And then I shot another 8, and now we're back to even. And, it's a battle. You try not to think about it. Try to win the tournament. Try to 12 every target. And, hope you come out on top. So I felt like I shot decent this year. I was just trying to shoot good. My first win of the year was the most points. So I didn't have any really bad tournaments per se, other than I didn't make the shoot off at London. But I think next year's going to be good. I had the biggest, thing this year for me was I switched bow companies, and really there's not a lot of stuff at my draw link. So I'm trying to make bows work that probably maybe shouldn't. And next year I'll have, 4 good bows to run, and I shouldn't have near the jumping back and forth on equipment. Should be a lot easier go of it. So I'm actually looking forward to next year, some of the new changes that Matthews has for the title. So it's going to go out there and try to get it done. Shooter of the year, hopefully it's always good to be top of your game. As you get older, it's harder to be gratified per se, even though you're winning in your age class. It's just, there must be something about age, because we all do it, so you always just feel like you should be able to shoot like you did when you were younger, and somehow we can't. But that's kind of sums it up, but it's still really good to finish at the top of the year. Hopefully it means a bigger contract, but
Well, Shooter of the Year is such a long, tough battle. Jeff had a pretty good lead coming into this, but you just can't tell. My worst finish, my worst score, my throwaway, I got third at London with 7 down. That was my throwaway score. Shooter of the Year is just so hard to hold it together for 6 tournaments against the guys that we shoot with out here. They're Jeff Hopkins, the GOAT before Levi. And, I've been working as hard as ever at this. And my shooting has held me back the last couple of years. Last year here, I was in the running, and I made a bad shot on a coyote and missed it. I think I ended up 2nd or 3rd last year. So I really worked hard on my shooting. My judging was solid pretty much all year. So it's an honor. It's an honor. My rookie year, 2016, I won Shooter of the Year. 2018, I won Senior Pro Shooter of the Year, and then 24 Shooter of the Year. So, it just goes to show. I think I was on the podium every year for Shooter of the Year. At this, maybe missed one. It just goes to show how tough it is to win. I really felt like I've shot good through the years, and it's just hard to get it all to come together. So like I said, it's an honor.